Welcome in again, everyone. Monday evening from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. You're right here with us on Sports Talk Mania. I'm your host, Lee Haygood. Good to have Labor Day off from our regular job. Now I get to have fun. We get to talk sports for the next hour here. Again, Sports Talk Mania each and every Monday from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Enjoy all of our listeners, and want to thank all of our listeners and all of our callers for calling in and talking some sports on Monday afternoon. Big long weekend. We ought to be able to talk a lot of sports, a lot of college football going on this past weekend. I actually started back on Thursday night, and a lot of high school action going on Friday night. Had our own Loretta Mustangs hosting the Rogers High Pirates out of Green Hill, Alabama. Also had the big ye old cowbell game going on Lawrence County at Hendrick Stagg Stadium at Lawrence County High School, and we'll talk more about those games coming up later in the show. Again, our phone lines are always open at 931-629-1824. Anytime on a Monday afternoon you'd like to call us, talk about any local sports around Lawrence County, Tennessee, or around the state of Tennessee, or even in the United States. We'll talk NFL, we'll talk college basketball, college football, NBA, it doesn't matter. Pro tennis, soccer. I'm not much of a soccer man, but I'll definitely listen because I know we got some soccer fans out there listening to us on Sports Talk Mania. I want to thank MustangsTV.com for allowing us to have this spot. That's the spot, Sports Talk Mania. Again, phone lines are open, ladies and gentlemen. You can give us a call at 931-629-1824. Be glad to hear from you. Or you can shoot us an email at sportstalk@MustangsTV.com. We'll be right back after a word from one of our great sponsors. I want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank you for tuning in. Again, this is Monday, September the 1st, first day of September already. We'll be right back. The Tennessee National Raceway, where dirt track racing is at its best. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Come out each and every Saturday night during racing season, ladies and gentlemen, and see some of the best dirt track racing anywhere around this area. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Back here live on Sports Talk Mania again, Monday, September the 1st, 2014. Great to be here today. Great to be talking some sports. Let's get into it while we can. Talking about sports, Thursday night opened up college football season. Actually, I think they might have had a game or two before, but the real opening started Thursday night. And I'm going to tell you, I was very, very surprised at the Texas A&M Aggies. I know we got some Aggie fans that tune in to us on Sports Talk Mania, and if you want to call and give us your hoops and hollers, that's fine too. I know a lot of you doubted me when I predicted South Carolina over the Aggies, said the Aggies wasn't going to have that good of a season. Maybe I was wrong. The new quarterback for the A&M Aggies, of course, Johnny Football being gone from Texas A&M now. A new quarterback in place now, and he was king of the hill, so-called Thursday night, as the Texas A&M took down South Carolina and the old ball coach. And people talk about coaches maybe giving not so much. Most coaches giving a generic answer when they're interviewed, going into halftime and post-game interviews. I'm going to tell you, if you did not watch the South Carolina Gamecocks against the Texas A&M Aggies Thursday night, you missed one of the best mid-going halftime interviews that I've ever heard from the old ball coach himself and Steve Spurrier. When asked the question, Coach, how's it going out there? What do you need to do? The old ball coach says, we're getting outplayed, we're getting whipped, we're getting our tails whipped out there. We're getting outplayed. We're getting outcoached. And we're talking about the head football coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks coming up with this. And when you talk about being honest, that's one thing you can't say that Steve Spurrier's not being as honest, because when you're coming off the field and you're a head ball coach of any team, we're talking even down in youth football, if you ever got interviewed, and I never did, and I wouldn't say you did, but from anywhere from youth all the way up to NFL Europe, or wherever, when you're talking like that and you're coming off the field and your answer is that we're getting out-coached and you're the coach yourself, that's when you're taking it all upon you right there. And again, if you have not, I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere, or with technology like it is today, you can absolutely find it out there. You need to listen to that, because that's one thing that you got to say about old Spurrier, and all of us Tennessee Volunteer fans, we couldn't stand the man when he was at Florida, because Florida was usually taking us every year. But the man's moved to South Carolina, brought a South Carolina team that wasn't that good to being good. And I'm going to tell you, I kind of root for the old ball coach now. I kind of root for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Of course, I'm SEC. I'm going to pull for the SEC teams by all means. Either way you go. But when it comes, when the SEC's playing the SEC, I kind of usually pick a team. Of course, I'm always a Volunteer fan and a Vanderbilt Commodore fan, which, by the way, we'll talk about that one, discuss that one later on as well. But South Carolina coach Steve Spurrier, in his comments at the halftime interview, that was something else. If you haven't checked it out, you need to do that. Phone lines are open here on Sports Talk Mania. Give us a call, 931-629-1824. We'll be glad to talk anything sports with you. We'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to my brother Lee on Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. Be sure to also tune in on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock for the Big Fred Show. Me and Lee and Mustangs TV, we the Total Bro Network, baby. Tune in and listen to us.
You are number one Mustang fans, Auto Owners Insurance and Loretto Insurance Services, a winning combination. We'll work with you to insure your home, auto, business, and life to keep everything you value safe, sound, secure. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Call Loretto Insurance Services in Loretto today, 931-853-7126. Southern Craft Manufacturing in Loretto, Tennessee blends old world craftsmanship and modern manufacturing for a multitude of steel and brushed finish caskets. Founder Rodney Robinson is dedicated to providing the finest quality at the best value. At Southern Craft Manufacturing, we are committed to choice with a variety of colors and hardware designs for limitless combinations. Southern Craft Manufacturing, North Main Street, Loretto. Toll free 800-413-1778.
Excuse me. Welcome out again, everyone. Sports Talk Mania. I'm your host, Lee Haygood. I'll be sitting in with you for about the next 50 minutes as we're here each and every Monday from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m., and that would be Central Standard Time for our friends that may live out of our time zones. That's 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time every Monday afternoon so we can talk sports. Make our weeks go just a little bit better, hopefully. Getting to talk some sports on Sports Talk Mania. Phone lines are open at 931-629-1824. Even when I get into talking about something else, phone lines are always open. Be glad to take your calls here on our show. Also, if you'd rather not talk to us in person and live on the network, you can always shoot us an email at sportstalk@MustangsTV.com. And checking our old mailbag here, we've got a question coming to us from Titan Fan. Says, the question is, what do you think about the Vols and their win over Utah State? It's got a two-part question. We'll stop right there. Actually, we'll go ahead and get. Also, what did you think about Saban being next to Kiffin in every camera shot that they got of Kiffin? Let's go back to the first part because I'm going to really elaborate on that second part. What do you think about the Vols and their win over Utah State? The Tennessee Volunteers, in case you're not a Volunteer fan or a Utah State fan, the Volunteers opened their season on a Sunday night, a little bit different, but of course it is Labor Day weekend, so they knew most people were off today. Went ahead and played the game on Sunday night. It was at Neyland Stadium. First time, I think, sellout at Neyland Stadium in, I think it was 9 years is what I heard. And I may be wrong. If I am, I'm sure somebody will correct me on that. But the win over Utah State, I was actually looking for it to be a better ball game from Utah State's side. I thought Utah State had some good athletes, especially the quarterback. I knew he was coming in ready to go, and usually plays bigger teams, bigger ball games, usually plays them really well. Usually steps up the game against bigger teams. I did not see that from Utah State. It's not, I don't know if it's a telltale sign for the Vols program this season or not. Because looking at the Vols program, I knew we should be better this year. I knew we got a lot of talent coming in, playing a lot of young guys. Even made a comment last night watching a game. They first showed the players, the starting lineup, and the offensive line, I think, might have had 2 starts between all 5 offensive linemen, starting offensive linemen. And then we got one, Gillum got hurt sometime during a game, so I know you brought somebody else in that probably didn't have any starts, but very young team, offensively and defensively. Of course, we got A.J. Johnson, and he is the beast on the defensive side of the ball. He came back just for this reason. He knew that Coach Jones was putting together a team and an outlook on the Tennessee Volunteer football program that he wanted to be a part of. So that's the reason I think he came back for his senior season at the University of Tennessee. And I'm glad he did because he had some big plays last night. Actually had an interception that I know he wanted to take it to the end zone worse than anything else. So as far as the question was asked, what I think about it, great job, Volunteers. You know, proud to see the Volunteer Nation back in full force at Neyland Stadium last night. Didn't see a whole lot of blue in the stadium. Seen a lot of white and orange going around the stadium. And one section, of course, for the visitors, Utah State last night. One section for them, that was pretty much all blue, and that's what you expect at Neyland Stadium. And didn't see a lot of spread out except for the orange and white the rest of the way around the stadium. I know our own Kyle Johnson was there. Him and Mr. Kenny Beckman made the trip over yesterday evening, to watch the Volunteers, and KJ sent some great pictures back. If any of you's friends with him on Facebook or whatever, I'm sure you can get some of those great photos that he sent of 102,000 plus people at Neyland Stadium to watch the Volunteers take the win over Utah State. Again, my thoughts on it, I'm not real sure. I'm not sure if Tennessee was that good. And I'm not sure if Utah State's just that bad. Seen a lot of holes in the Tennessee defense. Utah State's receivers dropped quite a few passes that were to them. And they were open. They were wide open. And I'm sure Coach Butch Jones is going to see that on game film, and they're going to be working on that. And they are young, so they're going to get, I look forward as a Volunteer fan seeing them getting better and better each and every ball game this season. I think they've got Arkansas State coming up this weekend, so shouldn't be too much of a test for them, and we'll see what happens there. Again, my thoughts right now, I'm going to kind of reserve my thoughts on the Vols. I think a couple of spots that we really, really got to work on is our deep threat. It looked like Justin Worley was overthrowing the receivers quite a bit last night. Not sure if he was too scared to actually try to put the ball in there or if that was part of their game plan, just to spread out the defense just a little bit to make sure that they honored the long ball and they couldn't keep, 8 people up in the box to contend with Hurd or Lane. And personally, I know Hurd was one of those big talk about guys coming into the program. I thought Marlon Lane probably had a better game last night for the Volunteers than Hurd did. Yeah, Hurd scored a touchdown, but I thought Marlon Lane, as far as when the ball was handed to him, was hitting that hole. And I don't know. I'm going to reserve the rights to comment on this team after we play who I think is going to be a real good ball club, and that's coming up in another 2 or 3 more ball games. And they weren't flattering, but they got the job done. And that may be the traits for a Coach Butch Jones team. So we'll see. We'll see when they play somebody just a little bit higher caliber, one that everybody expects it to be. You know, one of those ball games where Tennessee should either lose or be played very, very close. Second part of that question on our mailbag question was also, what did you think about Nick Saban being next to Lane Kiffin in every camera shot that they got of Kiffin? That was very interesting. I seen that one as it went down, as I did sit and watch the Alabama ball game and against West Virginia. Alabama did come out victorious, but I don't think they played as well as what Coach Nick Saban would have wanted them to play. And as far as the camera shots of Lane Kiffin, every time they shot, the camera got anywhere close to Kiffin, I guarantee you was going to see Nick Saban right there close. And I can't remember a time, and I'm sure there may have been a time or two, but I can't remember a time personally that I seen Saban any further than maybe 4 or 5 feet away from Coach Lane Kiffin, the new offensive coordinator of the Alabama Crimson Tide. And I'm sure all you Vol fans, you're wishing the worst for Kiffin, especially being at Alabama. And personally, I thought it was kind of funny that Nick Saban was staying close to him. I don't know if they've already had a riff inside the locker room or whatever, but I've never seen Nick Saban stick around his offensive coordinator the way he was sticking around his new offensive coordinator, Lane Kiffin, at the ball game Saturday. So kind of interesting what's going on in that little deal, and we'll see, I'm sure, as the season unravels, and we'll see how much leeway that Coach Saban is giving Lane Kiffin at the University of Alabama. Other sports, college sports anyway, college football. Vanderbilt, first game for Coach Derek Mason. And a lot of people think that Derek Mason's the same one that played for the Tennessee Titans. That is incorrect. And I'm going to tell you, his debut game, of course, keep in mind that they were delayed because of a severe thunderstorm that was rolling through Nashville, Tennessee at the time the game was supposed to be kicked off. They had, I think it was a 90-minute delay going into that game. And Coach Mason and his Commodores probably wished it would have completely done away with the game like Florida. I think it was Florida and Idaho was supposed to play. That game got completely canceled, and I'm sure at this time Coach Derek Mason's probably wishing the same thing would have happened to his game, the Vanderbilt Commodores, as the Commodores lost to Temple handily. I mean, Temple pretty much just wiped the slate clean with Vanderbilt Commodores the other night during that contest. What does Mason need to do? Sitting and watching the ball game, as much of it as I could, I don't know. I seen a lot of holes in the offense, and I seen a lot of holes in the defense. So they may need to just so-called, as you could say, start all over. That may be the best thing that they could do, just simply because I did not see very good things coming out of the Vanderbilt Commodores. And it may be, as all of you know, when a new coach comes in, they change over to new things. But I kind of thought when Mason was named the coach of the Vanderbilt Commodores that Coach Franklin was all about that. And I thought that Mason may have about the same coaching style as what Franklin has. I didn't see that the other night in the ball game, so we'll see. It's just one of those things that, again, you can't judge everything by the first game. But, again, I seen a lot of bads out of Vanderbilt Commodores Saturday and didn't see a whole lot of good. So, I think that game was Thursday. but didn't see a lot of good. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, Coach Derek Mason can get Vanderbilt Commodores turned around, as, again, that's probably the closest college team to us. As far as SEC is concerned, I know it is, and that's one team that I've rooted for pretty much all my life, being from the great state of Tennessee and being from that area. And, it's just one of those things that I think everyone inside kind of feels for Vanderbilt Commodores and roots for them if they haven't got their, behind their main team that they root for. So we'll see. Hopefully Coach Derek Mason can get the Vanderbilt Commodores turned around and on a win streak here before long. Phone lines are open at 931-629-1824 if you'd like to give us a call. We urge you to do so. Or if you'd like to shoot us an email, as Titan Fan did, on our email at sportstalk@MustangsTV.com. Get another word from one of our sponsors, and we'll be back right after this.
At Southern Craft Manufacturing, our commitment to choice sets us apart. Using both old world craftsmanship and modern techniques, we proudly provide the finest quality and greatest value caskets in the industry. Founder Rodney Robinson is a third-generation casket manufacturer, providing the highest quality finished product. Call toll-free 800-413-1778, Southern Craft Manufacturing on North Main Street in Loretto, Tennessee.
Tailgate checklist. Cooler.
Check.
Chips.
Check.
Hot dogs.
Check.
Mustang gear.
Check.
Insurance.
Check.
This season, protect your team with insurance from Auto Owners Insurance and Loretto Insurance Services. Keep everything you value safe, sound, secure. Call Loretto Insurance Services in Loretto today, 931-853-7126.
Yo, this is Big Fred. Tune in Thursday night. Big Fred Show. You never know what we're going to talk about. Never know where we're going to be. We'll be everywhere, because that's where we like to be, is everywhere. Tune in Thursday night, 7 o'clock. The Big Fred Show. Also, check out Lee Haygood's show, Sports Talk Mania. He's an encyclopedia, and if he don't know it, it ain't true. So there you go, y'all. Big Fred Show, Sports Talk Mania. Tune in.
Welcome back again, everyone. Sports Talk Mania. I'm your host, Lee Haygood. Be glad to talk to you anything about sports. Phone lines are open at 931-629-1824. Let's get into some more local high school football action going on this past Friday night. Told you in the opener that the Loretto Mustangs hosted the Rogers High Pirates out of Green Hill, Alabama. And the Rogers High Pirates come in to LM Forsyth Memorial Field, and they took them a win back to Green Hill, Alabama. Mustangs opened up. It looked like it was going to be a great night. Great crowd out, by the way. Thanks going out to all Green Hill High School or Rogers High School fans and Loretto High School Mustang fans. Great crowd. Looks like the bleachers were full on both sides. Some standing room only spots up against the railing, which a lot of our Mustang fans like the railing anyway, to stand there and watch the game. Can't sit down during a good ball game. And it was a good ball game. The Loretto Mustangs come out and looked like we were ready to play. We was driving the ball on offense, playing good defense, and I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to talk to Coach Boyd about the game, and we're expecting him to give us a call, but if he don't, we understand it is Labor Day. So, but talking about the game, I'm going to give you my analysis of the Loretto High School against the Rogers Pirates. It looked to me as if both teams come out fired up and ready to play. A big rivalry game that dated back years ago, and then we quit playing for some reason. I don't know if the scheduling got off or what, but talking about the big rivalry, they played all the way up till like 1993. 1993, I believe, was the last ball game between Rogers High Pirates and the Loretto High School Mustangs. And back to 93, it stopped at 93 and never played again up until this year, which would have been 2014. The reason that rivalry stopped, I have no clue. I have been given a reason why they think it got stopped. The state of Alabama and the state of Tennessee, when they're doing their scheduling, it rolls over I think it's 2 years, as they reschedule every 2 years. That way you can usually have a home game and an away game against the same opponent. And we got a call coming in. I think it might be Coach Boyd. We're going to get to it. Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. Who we got on the line?
This Coach Boyd.
Coach Lee Boyd, I was just analyzing the ball game myself, brother, and I'm glad you called. We got Coach Lee Boyd, coach of the Loretta High School football Mustangs, online with us. Coach Boyd, thanks for calling first and foremost. What about that game Friday night? I just let our listeners and the people tuned in know that we did suffer a heartbreaker Friday night in what I consider to be one of the better rivalries around the area.
Yeah, I agree. I'm calling. I told you I'd call at 6 o'clock. I'm actually over here trying to mow the field. I looked down and realized it was after 6 o'clock. So, no, yeah, we did. We did suffer a little heartbreaker right there. We did a good job of fighting back. Rogers plays a high level of football all through their season, and although their record didn't show that last year, I firmly believe their record will show that this year. They were very young last year and started a lot of freshmen and sophomores, and now those freshmen and sophomores are sophomores and juniors and a couple of seniors in there, and they played really hard, and they come out and caught us in a couple of things that we wasn't quite ready for because we didn't really have any film on them. Being it was their first ball game, and they don't play a lot of jamborees and stuff down there. So, but I mean that's not an excuse. We adjusted to it at halftime, and really and truthfully just kind of stalled out right there at the end. Come back right there right after the half, and made it 14-13. He had about 6 minutes left in the ball game, and they had a 4th and goal from about the 3. And we called the right stunt and was right there in the hole and just missed it. And, I thought we had the kids played right there. We kind of knew what they were going to do and run right by it. And they went in and went up. And then we come down and started doing some good stuff right there. And we had an isolation on Burks and was actually trying to get Nunley out wide and had a miscommunication on the set. And they jumped the route and picked us off and went down and scored. And from there, we were just kind of in bailout mode with 2 minutes left. It was hard fought right to the end. Like I said, when you can play, 3.5 quarters and the ball game's 14-13 in your favor, and then right there at the end, bang, bang, that's football. And that's definitely high school football when you're coaching 15, 16, and 17-year-old kids. But I was proud of our boys. They fought hard. I was really impressed with our fans and the turnout on both sides. It was a really great atmosphere. It's going to be the same atmosphere that I feel like we're going to have in 2 weeks when Lawrenceburg comes down. Our MIAs did an unbelievable job. Coach Rutledge, Coach Swan, and Coach and Dr. Littleton have done a real good job of giving them opportunities to become involved in the game itself, and it really did show our guys played up to that. So, but yeah, nobody likes to lose, though, and I'll take responsibility for that because these boys, like I said, they're teenage boys, and they're doing everything that we tell them to do, and it's our job to get them in the place to win the ball game. So.
You're right, Coach. And, Coach, what I was seeing right before you called is one thing that I did see a lot of. I seen a lot of improvement in our team. And again, I did make mention also the fan turnout was great. I appreciate all the fans on both sides, the Pirates fans and the Mustang fans. Great turnout. Great atmosphere, great football atmosphere Friday night at L.M. Forsyth Memorial Field. But, Coach, I seen a lot of improvements in the Mustangs in offense and defense. And just I was impressed with the way that the kids come out and started playing to begin the game.
Well, I tell you, the biggest thing was that, last week they were very aware when we came in that if they played and made the mental mistakes and the physical mistakes that they made, then they're not going to win a ball game. And so they worked hard this week on their focus, and they were focused when they came to the game. There was no doubt in my mind, when Friday evening before we had our pep rally, There are times when you have to come into the locker room and you have to address, hey, let's focus. I didn't have to do that. Lights were off. They were laying around quiet. They had their mind where it was supposed to be. And then before the game, the same way. We come out, they did some things, and we knew that might happen as a coaching staff. And they done some things that we haven't seen before. Running a buck sweep off the weak side with motion was a little difficult for us because, like I said, we were without our two outside linebackers, Kelsey McMasters and Gustavo Miranda. Had some unfortunate. Kelsey had the flu, and Gustavo had some shoulder issues. We just didn't feel like it was going to be a situation where we wanted to put him in there and risk further injury. So we kind of had to make a makeshift outside linebackers that hadn't been doing it much, and right on Thursday. So it was a little difficult trying to get them to understand the adjustment right there at the end, or right there at the beginning of the ball game. But I thought our kids come out and were bouncing around. They were excited. They were letting their bodies go, and it was physical contest. And I was very, very, very pleased with their effort. I really was.
Coach, on defense, I know you loved seeing the number 32 back out there on your defensive squad. He brought a lot to the contest and got involved in the play very early. So what's your thoughts on Mason Purser?
If he hears it, I wouldn't let him know. He knows I love him, but he can play a little better than that. He knows it. I don't ever let him rest. It don't matter how good he does. He knows I'm not going to be satisfied. I want more. I want him to make every tackle, and we put a lot on his shoulders. He did a good job coming in. He did make an evident, very, very, very specific impact early in the ball game. Struggled a little bit right after the half, especially in the fourth quarter, because he's been out with a leg injury for 3.5 weeks, and it's hard to condition when you have a leg injury. I mean, there's just really no way that we can. He stayed in the weight room and he done all the things, push-ups and sit-ups wise, but you just can't mimic game speed and conditioning when you have injuries to your lower extremities. So he even told me, Coach, I'm running out of gas. And I knew he was. Now, he wasn't their ass guy of the ball game, but he was running out of gas. They don't do that. For fear I won't put him back in. But he did an unbelievable job. He leads us out there, and we kind of play on his energy because Mason is a physical player. He's always been a physical player. And he will continue to show the reason why I feel like he's going to be a very, an all-district linebacker this year.
I will have to agree with you, Coach. And I did see the fatigue setting in, but I agree with you. You can't expect a young man, even if he is as good as Mason, and you and I both know he's that good. Even when he's that good, though, you can't expect him to come straight out from an injury to full, 48 minutes of ball game time. And like you said, or like I said earlier, he come out, made an impact real quick, but then kind of fell off. And I know that's what you was talking about when you first got into this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did early in the ball game. They couldn't run between the tackles, and that's a direct product of Mason Purser and Ezra. Now, Mason, he's kind of having to direct traffic with Ezra. Ezra's a young player, we have a lot of great plans for Ezra. He is a huge, strong specialist, probably the strongest kid on our team as a sophomore. And, he's playing that inside linebacker. And to be honest with you, he had been sick 2 days that week with strep throat. And really didn't feel real well on Thursday and Friday, but he played really well, had several opportunities. But like I said, with linebackers, you have to have game experience. You have to see those progressions because we can't mimic them in practice because there's just no way because we don't run the offense that the other team runs. I mean, we do try to, but there's no way we run it as effective as they do. But, yeah, Mason directs traffic out there, and like I said, it was a little difficult for him because we hadn't been able to prepare him for what we thought they would do set-wise. I mean, we knew that they would be in the spread, and we adjusted it well, and then we knew they'd be in the wing, but we had not seen them come over to an overset with motion and then run the buck sweep over the top, and they just had one more than we had. And like I said, our dogs couldn't adjust to it because they hadn't seen that or, were very new. We told them, but like I said, when you're out there for the first or second time in your career playing an outside linebacker, that's not something you're just very, very used to seeing and can make the adjustment unless you know what to do. And Kelsey does a real good job of that. And like I said, he was out with the flu, and we just didn't feel it safe for him to play.
And again, I'm glad you didn't. If that was the case, I'm glad you didn't play those guys. But the ones you had, the 22 players you had on the field all night, Coach, my hat's off to you. You played 48 minutes of football. They done an excellent job. I seen, like I said earlier, I seen a lot of improvements offensive-wise and defensive-wise. And my hat's off to the coaching staff. We were sitting there. Of course, you know, I'm glued to the game, and I'm watching it with everything, and I've got my analyzing coming out of it. And I seen things that needed to be changed, and like you said, at halftime, you made those changes, and we were playing good competitive football. But I think that one stop that we didn't make, like you said, the 4th and goal, I think that stop there was what actually was the game turner, and what, you know, kind of let us down, let the air out of our bag, so to speak.
Well, I tell you what, you know, and it was tough because we knew what they were going to do, and Logan will tell you this. I jumped his butt pretty good when he come off the field. That'd have been the 4th time his helmet come off in that series. And I told him, I said, we're going to put duct tape on your ears if you don't get that helmet to stay on, because I had to put a guy in there because, like I said, our outside linebacker situation, those were our backups.
Right.
So the only other outside linebackers that we had were freshmen who really didn't need to be in this ball game at that time because of just the strength aspects as well as the experience. So I had to go get one of my interior linebackers and put him at the outside linebacker position, and it was very difficult. He hadn't seen what they had been doing. We still had an opportunity to make the play, and we didn't. But that's not a horrible thing. We were there.
Right.
And if we weren't even there, we would have a big issue. But we were there. We just didn't make it. Now, if I'd have been a senior not making the play, it would have been a little bit different. We could have a little different conversation. But that's a 10th grader.
Yeah, well,
10th grader.
Coach, you got a lot of freshmen and 10th graders playing out there this year. But like I say, I'm seeing improvement. All right, enough about this past game, Coach. What we got coming up Friday night, and what are we looking to do Friday night?
Well, Perry County, like I said, you know, I'm not used to being 0-2. I haven't been that many times in my career, and I know that every coach, period, has been in a situation where they're not very pleased with their record, and I'm not. So, you know, we're not going to go away from what we do. That's the first thing we're not going to do. You know, as a younger coach, the first thing I might have done was say, okay, we're not doing something right. We got to make a change. Now, we don't have to make much of a change. We just got to do what we do better. And we can do that. We, you know, there's some things that we're going to do to try to put Perry County in situations where we get maybe angles on them. The other night, you know, I look back. If we went into an overset late in the ball game where we were putting Burks on the same side as the side end, and when we did that, they didn't have enough people over there to stop our outside veer. What they were doing was, once we put him over there, they would bring 2 guys over. So we'd go back. We went back to our twin set after the halftime because they were playing our jet pretty good, and we were letting Burks go down and crack the outside linebacker. We pinned him a couple times and had some big things happen. What we're going to try to do this week is a little bit more of that in a situation where we may actually put 1 extra lineman on the field and get in some unbalanced and things of that nature, because that's very, very difficult to adjust to if you haven't seen it. And in a triple option offense, if you adjust too far, then we'll run out the back door. So, you know, we feel like if you don't move to us, then we'll hit you with our wham, we'll hit you with our power play or our trap spinner. And if you do adjust to us too far, then we'll weak side you with our veer and whatnot. Defensively, we're just going to hit them until the official tells us not to. That's kind of our philosophy. You know, we did that Friday night. We just hit them. That's all. I mean, that was our main goal. The defensive line's main goal was to just hit the guy in front of you, drive him backwards, make the play, and move on. And like I said, we were in position. A couple times they called some formations, but that's why we didn't do a good job off the weak side with the buck sweep. This week will be the same deal. I feel like they're going to be in a pro set. They'll run some 2x2, 3x1 stuff. Very, very big kids at Perry County. They've never been small that I can remember. And And really and truthfully, when I say big, I mean in the same area as Lewis County. I mean, their offensive line is really kind of spectacular to look at. Now, I don't know if they're the same caliber players as the ones in Lewis County, but they sure have the genetic makeup of a giant when you see them. We feel like that we could do some things with them, kind of get them in a situation. You know, they're kind of in our situation where they're playing about 16 kids. They're playing, 8 or 9 kids are playing both ways and inside and out right there. So we feel like it'll be more of an even contest right there.
I agree, Coach. They're real young, just like your squad is, and when I say young, I know we've got 2, 3, 4, seniors that really are good leaders. But like you say, when you're playing 16 players, it's just hard to go a complete ball game, full force, 100% like that. Even though I know your players are going 100% to full ball game, but it's my understanding that this Perry County and the studying on them that I've done, they're kind of the same way. Is that what you're seeing?
Well, I think they may be even a little worse in a lot of areas because their skill people are not. They never come off the field. What I mean by that is they don't have receivers to back up their receivers. They don't have fullbacks to back up their fullback. Their tailback is their tailback. Their fullback is their fullback. Their pros are their pros. Their tight ends are tight ends. Beyond that, I'm not so sure if they even have one because they are primarily made up of big kids. So the issue you run into is that they have mainly linemen, and a lot of them are underclassmen. So they don't have a lot of leeway to do to sub in at all. Like us, I mean, I can put Berryhill and Kennedy in there for Hood, or Hood in there for Smith, or Ezra in there for Smith, or even Chance in there for Fleming, or Nunley, or Bottoms and Kirstein's in for Birch and Killen. We get a break. We get a couple minutes break right there, maybe a series, and we get a little breather right there. They don't have that luxury, so we feel like we can take advantage of that.
And that's what I'm hearing as well, Coach. Well, Coach, I know you're busy with the field. We're going to let you go, but we thank you for spending a little bit of time with us here on Sports Talk Mania. Look forward to getting that first W this Friday night.
Oh yeah, we got to. It's not an optional deal. My kids know it. So, if we want to make a run in the playoffs again, and we're going to, then we got to win this one first. First region contest, everybody's want to win it. Our region hasn't fared too well this year. I think Collinwood's 0-2, Perry County's 0-2, and Wayne County's 1-1. So, and we're 0-2. So, somebody's going to get their first win Friday night. And I feel like it's going to be us. They got to come all the way over here. It's going to be a hot week, and we're going to condition where I don't feel like they will. And I know Josh is up there in the box with you a lot, and he'll tell you from where I come from when things don't go well or you don't get the results, they don't translate onto the field, you can't let your excuses be bigger than your success.
I agree.
Because your excuses will do that. And so one thing he knows that I'm fixing to do is the way to fix not winning the ball game late in the ball game is to be in better shape.
You're right.
We're going to do that this week, and it's not a punishment thing or anything. My kids know it. They know that we've got to condition better in order to keep playing because we have had an unusually mild summer and then an unusually hot fall. So we're kind of, but everybody's having to do it. We're just struggling a little bit not being able to give people breaks. But biggest thing is I can promise you, and I can promise anybody, is we're going to keep fighting. They're going to have to make me quit. I don't care if it's week 10. They're going to have to say, Coach, you got to stop. And then I won't. I'll just keep going. So we just going to keep fighting, keep doing it. I just don't know when to do that. And that's just how I'm wired. But I think my kids are too because they were still fighting when they blew the whistle. So
I agree, Coach, and that's one thing that I've got to hand it to you for. I noticed every year that you've been the coach, Coach Boyd, that these kids fight till the end, and that's what they need to do, and we appreciate them. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time here on Sports Talk Mania. Coach, best wishes to you this Friday night.
Thank you so much, Lee.
All right, that's Coach Lee Boyd with the Loretta Mustangs football team coming off a heartbreaker, so to speak, Friday night, losing one 28-14 to the Roger Pirates out of Green Hill, Alabama. And With that said, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit about the Lawrence County High School Wildcats and the old cowbell game. Coming up right after this on Sports Talk Mania. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back after this.
Your number one Mustang fans, Auto Owners Insurance and Loretto Insurance Services, a winning combination. We'll work with you to ensure your home, auto, business, and life to keep everything you value safe, sound, secure. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Call Loretto Insurance Services in Loretto today, 931-853-7126.
The Tennessee National Raceway, where dirt track racing is at its best. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Come out each and every Saturday night during racing season, ladies and gentlemen, and see some of the best dirt track racing anywhere around this area. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee.
Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to my brother Lee on Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. Be sure to also tune in on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock for the Big Fred Show. Me and Lee and Mustangs TV, we the Total Bro Network, baby. Tune in and listen to us.
Southern Craft Manufacturing in Loretto, Tennessee blends old world craftsmanship and modern manufacturing for a multitude of steel and brushed finish caskets. Founder Rodney Robinson is dedicated to providing the finest quality at the best value. At Southern Craft Manufacturing, we are committed to choice, with a variety of colors and hardware designs for limitless combinations. Southern Craft Manufacturing, North Main Street, Loretto. Toll free 800-413-1778.
Welcome back again, everyone. Sports Talk Mania. Still got about 13 minutes remaining in our show this Monday, September the 1st, 2014. Phone lines are open. If you'd like to get in before the end of the show, you can give us a call at 931-629-1824, or you can shoot us an email at sportstalk@MustangsTV.com. We'll answer all emails as we did one earlier in today's show. Be glad to answer more if you've got any questions. We'd rather you give us a call, though, 931-629-1824. Love to hear you. Love to get all of our viewers involved on here. And, again, we appreciate you tuning in to us every Monday from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on MustangsTV.com via Sports Talk Mania. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the Lawrence County High School Wildcats hosted the Giles County Bobcats this past Friday night at Hendrick Stagg Stadium right there in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. And unfortunately, the Cowbell had to make the trip about 18 miles away back over to Pulaski, Tennessee, because the Giles County Bobcats ended up taking that one by a score of 43-23. That ball game, pretty much what I've heard, was handled by Giles County right off the bat. I know going into halftime, Giles County had a 21-9 lead over the Wildcats, and they end up taking it as well. Of course, Giles County being ranked this year, ranked number 22 in the state, and so the Wildcats handled to me, a better Columbia squad. Columbia actually ranked 9th in the state and played Columbia Lions to a close game. 12-8 was the final there. Columbia taking that one from Lawrence County in week 0 of our high school season. And then in week 1 of the high school season, the Giles County Bobcats taking the Wildcats by a score of 43-23, the final score in the Cowbell game. Really wish the Wildcats would have kept the cowbell here. And when I say that, I know the Giles County Bobcats had the cowbell, but they had to bring it. on the trip with them, just in case the Wildcats won, and unfortunately the Wildcats didn't. So Giles County takes the cowbell back home over to Giles County High School over in Pulaski, Tennessee. Got, as you heard Coach Boyd earlier, we got the Perry County team coming into LM Forsyth Memorial Field this Friday night. Friday night, September the 5th, I guess that is. 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Yes, that would be September the 5th. I just pulled my calendar out. See? September the 5th, it's the Perry County High School going against Loretto High School at Loretto. That's this coming Friday night. So if you can get out there, support your high school, your local high school teams, whether it's Loretto, Lawrenceburg. I know Summertown doesn't have a high school football team this year, but, you know, no matter where you're listening to us at, get out and support your local high schools, because these young men, these young student athletes need your support on the field as well. Lawrence County actually hosting Hardin County this Friday night at Hendrick Stagg Stadium there in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. So all you Wildcat fans, make sure you get out, support your Wildcats, as they're going to host Hardin County this coming Friday night at Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. So, again, get out, support your local high school teams, and get that done. See what your local high school teams can do this Friday night. Again, that's Lawrence County hosting Hardin County, Loretto hosting Perry County. Look forward to Friday night football under the lights. Again, this past Friday night, another warm, very warm night for these football players. As Coach Boyd said, unseasonably warm for this time of the year. But I think in the last 2 or 3 years, we've come to realize that it's still hot. These first 2 or 3 ball games of the season, looking for this Friday night to not be any different. Hopefully it'll cool off a little bit between now and game time come Friday night, because I know these players definitely need some cooler air coming in over what we've had these first couple of Friday nights. Perry County, talking about Perry County, the team that's going up against Loretto this Friday night, they suffered a pretty big loss this past Friday night. I think they got beat 55-9 or something like that. I had it on my notes, and I can't find it in my notes here. But they suffered a pretty bad loss this past Friday night. And talking about Hardin County for the opponent coming up for Lawrence County Wildcats this Friday night. Again, Hardin County making their way into Hendrick Stagg Stadium there in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. Hardin County suffered a loss Friday night as well to Jackson Northside. It was a real close game. They lost by a score of 34-31 to Jackson Northside. That's your Hardin County Tigers. Out of Savannah, Tennessee, they'll be visiting Hendrick Stagg Stadium this Friday night to take on the Lawrence County High School Wildcats. Talking about Perry County, you heard Coach Boyd say they're Perry County. I'm going to give you my analysis on the game now. Perry County is, like Coach Boyd said, they probably don't dress out. What I've seen on their roster looks like about 32 to 34 players is what dresses out for Perry County, a very young squad, a lot of freshmen in there. And like he said, their key players are mainly going both ways in the ball game. They're having to go offense and defense, and their key spots on offense and defense. You know, a lot of times a lot of teams will put a free safety out there that's the quarterback. And that's because they're the leader of the team on the offense. They can lead a little bit on defense too, but the free safety, not involved as much in the plays as what you say your inside linebackers and outside backs on the defensive side would do. So we'll see. Coach Boyd said, he's going to try to pin them quick because of how they have to play both sides of the ball. And they're going to be wore out. I can see the Mustangs being worn out as well. But like Coach Boyd said, he's going to have them in game shape come Friday night. So, again, if you're a Mustang fan, let's try to get out and support our Mustangs Friday night at LM Forsyth Memorial Field. We're going to take another break, and we'll be back to close out the show. Phone lines are open, so when we come back, if you want to get in real quick, we know you're out there. We know you're listening. So give us a call if you want to talk sports. Other people can talk, and you can get on here. 931-629-1824 is our phone number. You can shoot us an email again at sportstalk@MustangsTV.com. We'll be back after a couple of messages from our great sponsors. We want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank you again for tuning in to Sports Talk Mania. We'll be right back.
Your number one Mustang fans, Auto Owners Insurance and Loretto Insurance Services, a winning combination. We'll work with you to insure your home, auto, business, and life to keep everything you value safe, sound, secure. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Call Loretto Insurance Services in Loretto today, 931-853-7126.
At Southern Craft Manufacturing, our commitment to choice sets us apart. Using both old world craftsmanship and modern techniques, we proudly provide the finest quality and greatest value caskets in the industry. Founder Rodney Robinson is a third-generation casket manufacturer, providing the highest quality finished product. Call toll-free 800-413-1778, Southern Craft Manufacturing on North Main Street in Loretto, Tennessee.
Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to my brother Lee on Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. Be sure to also tune in on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock for the Big Fred Show. Me and Lee and Mustangs TV, we the Total Bro Network, baby. Tune in and listen to us.
Tailgate checklist. Cooler.
Check.
Chips.
Check.
Hot dogs.
Check.
Mustang gear.
Check.
Insurance.
Check.
This season, protect your team with insurance from Auto Owners Insurance and Loretto Insurance Services. Keep everything you value safe, sound, secure. Call Loretto Insurance Services in Loretto today, 931-853-7126.
The Tennessee National Raceway, where dirt track racing is at its best. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Come out each and every Saturday night during racing season, ladies and gentlemen, and see some of the best dirt track racing anywhere around this area. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Welcome back again, everyone, to Sports Talk Mania. We got a couple of minutes left in the show. Phone lines are open at 931-629-1824. Love for you to give us a call. We'll close out the show with a phone call if we have to. Talking about Perry County, I finally got my notes pulled up here in front of me. Perry County in Week 0 lost to Scotts Hill by a score of 39-12. And last week they played Waverly. They lost to Waverly by a score of 55-6. As Coach Boyd said, all the teams in our district are 0-2 except for Waynesboro. I believe Waynesboro is 1-1, so nobody really taking the district as of yet. So Coach Boyd hopefully get all players, as he said. We've got a couple of players on the sideline. Hopefully we can get them back in this Friday night. Again, that's Perry County coming to LM Forsyth Memorial Field this Friday night. All you Mustang fans, get out, support the Loretto Mustangs. And Perry County, again, 0-2. Mustangs 0-2. We got to have a first-time winner between these two teams this year. Hopefully it's the Mustangs coming out on top as the Vikings from Perry County are making their way to Loretto, Tennessee. Look forward to that ball game Friday night. Not so sure I'm going to look forward to the heat that we've been going through on Friday nights, but outside of that, some good ball. Again, I think the Mustangs, as you heard Coach Boyd saying earlier, I think the Mustangs are much improved versus compared to the Lewis County game, which was first game of the season for the Mustangs. and they come out. They were fired up. Again, thanks to all the crowd for showing up for the Pirate side and the Mustang side this past Friday night. Great crowd, great football atmosphere at LM Forsyth Memorial Field. Still got about 1 more minute. You got time to call 931-629-1824 if you'd like to get a quick one in. Outside of that, ladies and gentlemen, again, we thank you for tuning in to Sports Talk Mania. Look forward to being with you next Monday as well from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, as we are each and every Monday. As for me, everyone have a safe Labor Day. Everyone have a great week at work. I'm Lee Haygood. You're tuned in to Sports Talk Mania with myself here on MustangsTV.com. Everyone have a great week at work this week. Look forward to talking to you next Monday. Until then, Godspeed.